show while you're at school, and I don't want you to play this show while you're in class, so don't go. And education first. So, Tefi, why a pop culture show? Because there's no business that isn't mine. So that's right, I'm a nosy little bitch, and I'm gonna tell you everything that I think this show. Hope it sounds good. But before we do that, if you have been watching the show, you know that this is day 2 of my Groupon adventure. Or the art of the deal, or now as I call it after day 2, is it not discounted? Is this the actual price of the Groupon, and Groupon is scamming me? So, of course, yesterday I went to my second adventure, and it was my first acupuncture, of course, somewhere around 28th and Madison, because that's where everything is, so on Groupon, right? So I go to my first acupuncture, and I am early for myself, but 30 minutes late for them, and that's just because I went to the wrong location first because who I am as a person, but that's fine. And I mean, why even try with directions with me? Like, I'm from Miami and I don't even know what Flagler is, so that's just like, I get lost going to my house from the airport. So I made it there, I made it, and as soon as I walk in, I open the door and there's this teeny tiny little Chinese lady with a shaved head, and I go, hi, and she's like, please hurry, I get very busy. And I'm like, it's so good to meet you too. And she's like, fill out the forms, let's go, hurry up. And I'm like, okay. So I want you to imagine this. I'm filling out the forms, which is like, what's the first food you ever ate? Like, so it's all this crazy shit. And it's like, are you allergic to anything? No. Are you sure? And I'm like, no, I don't know, you know? And so I'm filling this out, and she's like, every 30 seconds, she's like, hurry up, hurry. And I'm like, oh my God. She has made her point that I am beta and she is alpha, and that's just the way that it is. So I walk into this small little room, right? And she immediately, she's like, and I'm like, she's like, no, don't hold my hand. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. So she's like, she checks my pulse with her little hands, and she's like, off rip. She checks my pulse, she goes, oh, depression. And I was like, mental health is a very important issue that we all need to be more open about. Like, I was just like, okay. And she was like, liver is weak. Liver is weak, digestion is bad. I'm like, I'm pretty regular. She's like, liver is not married to gallbladder. And I was like, I didn't know. I mean, they're trying. I think they're trying, you know? And she's like, you have no energy, no balance. And I wanted to say to her, like, ma'am, I've been up since 6 in the morning, it's 4 p.m. That could be it, my Adderall's worn off, but sure. She's like, no, energy is off. She goes, your liver chi, very bad. And I was like, let's do a compliment sandwich, compliment, critique, compliment, maybe? No? She's like, any pain at all? I was like, when I walk, my hip does click because I danced for 4 minutes in high school. And I have a serious athlete's injury now. And so she's like, what does the hip do? And I'm like, when I walk, it goes, it's very sexy and very young of me. And so she's like, okay, well, show me your tongue. And I was like, you know when you're unsure if somebody's asked you something? So you're like, she's like, show me your tongue. I'm like, and immediately. So she's like, did you brush your tongue this morning? And I was like, did you? You didn't? She's like, why did you brush your tongue? I can only guess now about your health. And I was like, I brushed it because I have to talk to people throughout the day. I have to be around people. And she's like, well, I can see already from your tongue that you're a very, very nervous person. And I was like, no, that's just because I'm shaking, ma'am, because you're the alpha. And so, but she's like, oh yeah, I can totally, your digestion is off, your energy is unbalanced, one side of your tongue is swollen, the other is flat. And I'm there like, it's like the tip of yours is very red. I'm like, is that okay? Okay. She's like, you know what? You need balance. Know what to do. Before you do, we start, I want to know, like, what do you do for work? And I was like, I work on camera. And she goes, oh, a model. And I was like, too soon to say I love you? And she was like this. And I was like, wow. Tough crowd. So she's like, okay, stand up. So I stand up. And I swear, as Lord and Savior is my witness, she taps me 2 times on the ass, goes, all right, jeans off. And I was like, oh. I was like, ma'am, by I love you, I meant. So she's like, jeans off. And so again, you know when you don't know if you're understanding what someone's saying? I took off my jeans, but only right underneath my butt. You know when you're like putting on your jeans and they don't fit and you just put them they're like right there? That's exactly where I put them, and I just laid down slowly onto the mat and put my face in the face hole. Face hole is a funny word. So then, the worst part about that though is that it was laundry day. I didn't have anything, so I was wearing a thong leotard. And I didn't know how to explain that. I like that you like that, Zach. Thank you. I didn't know how to explain that without being like, no, I am not Jane Fonda in the 80s teaching an aerobics class. This is just something that I wear, okay? So I have it right under my butt. It's giving me a little bubble butt. So I was like, you're welcome. And I knew that it was working. She was like, yes, I knew you dance. Nice figure. And I was like, you're obsessed with me, you know? So then all of a sudden, you know, I asked Molly Ryder, producer, Molly Righty Producey before. I was like, you did acupuncture, right? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, what do they do? She's like, they put some needles on my fucking forehead. And you know, when I started feeling those needles on specifically my right butt cheek and only right butt cheek, I was like, Molly excluded some information to me. Because if I had known that this lady was gonna be maybe giving me tetanus only on my ass, perhaps I would have gone with the Reiki versus the acupuncture, okay? So I get on the table, face down, right? Right under my butt cheek. And every time she didn't warn me about the needles. When she was gonna put the needle in, I would go, ah. And then you know what I hear this very nice woman say? I'd go, ha, and she'd go like this. An alpha move. So she starts cupping my butt cheek, right? Which, not holding it within her hands. I mean with a little glass bowl thing, okay? She wasn't cupping my butt cheek. She's a professional, okay? So she's cupping my butt cheek. And then she starts giving me an elbow massage on my butt. If you don't know what the fuck that feels like, I want you to know that it's the opposite of good. And I think, I couldn't see her, but I think I could feel her smiling, you know? And then another thing that she did that kind of made me like her, and I'm like, oh, I get it, you're a weirdo, I like you, is that I'm in this face hole, right? I'm in this face hole, right? And she comes under it. She goes under it, and she goes, do you want to see what I look like before I shave my head? And I was like, yes. She shows me, and she's like, can you believe how wrinkly my head is? And I was like, I've only heard that one time in my life, and it was not an acupuncture room. It was in the bedroom. So that's a circumcision joke. So this is where she got me. This is where I was like, I like you, okay? After the whole experience, by the way, I forgot to mention that she put electroshock into my needles. It was a thing. It was a big thing. It was a thing. My one cheek going thunk, 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 thunk was weird, okay? But, so at the end of it, I get up, pull my pants up over my thong leotard, and I go, and she goes, I like you, pretty girl. You can come back. I was like, if that is not a business plan, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, you know, I liked it, whatever. But now that I know that it's exclusive, can you imagine afterwards she's just like, you? Yeah. That's what I see it as. Yeah. Don't show your fucking face here ever again. So I have another session on Wednesday at 2. Yeah. Guys, we have a great show for you today. We got the gossip, we got the drama, we got the opinions. I'm probably gonna get a story wrong after this break. Mariah, I love you too, baby. I do. Ooh. Please tell me I'm not the oldest person in this room and we know that it's from. Okay, it's a Keenan and Kel joke. It's true. You guys aren't 23 too? Okay, so Taylor Swift versus Scooter Braun. Again, I call Scooter Braun Scootie, so we're gonna call him Scootie this whole fucking segment. All right, so I'm gonna preface this. This segment is jam-packed with so much information that I might get a little something wrong. I might misspeak. If you think that I'm saying something wrong or you think that's within the quote, oh, magic. Instead, I was given an opportunity to sign back up to Big Machine Records and earn one album back at a time, one for every new one I turned in. That's right. That is bullshit. That's exactly what you're thinking. So yeah, obviously, Taylor says, no, I'm not gonna fucking do that. Scooter pays $300 million. That's Scooter. Is he ugly? That's not the point. I'm warm-blooded, baby. So, Scooter pays 300 million pesos, dollars, to acquire Big Machine Group, the label that Taylor Swift recorded all her old shit on, when she first started out with tears on her fucking 14-year-old body and guitar. I'm really good at my job. I'm really good at it. I'm good at it, okay? So basically now, she's being honored for Artist of the Decade at the AMAs, but Scooter says that she can't play any of her old music. You piece of shit. I know. So she asked Scooter, can I please play my old stuff because Artist of the Decade is 10 years, And he said no. So he said no, and he is someone who had nothing to do with her writing, with her touring, with her fan meet and greets, with all of her work. You know what, Scooter, bitch, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. I think that's the most proud I've ever been of an audio clip in this show. So Scooter basically says, no, you can't because I have a little piece of paper that says I own your ass, okay? So be a good girl and don't make me mad. And also there's a Netflix documentary. There's a Netflix documentary that they've been making about her life for the past few years, and he also declined for them to use her old songs. Unless, he says, the only way that you can use your old songs if you re-record them, make new versions, and if you stop speaking poorly about me. Which in adult language means, wah, 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 wah. I'm a grown man with a rivalry with a young girl. I'm big and bad, wah, 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 wah. You know what I mean? Thank you. Someone's here, okay? But how can you even, without the old music, how would you even be able to make this movie? I imagine something like, it's a love story, Romeo, that's the kind of thing. It's like, I stay out too late. That kind of stuff. And you know what? This is bullying. I think that this is bullying. And you know why I know bullying? You know why I know Billy? No, that's not the line. You know why I know bullying? Because I survived middle school with a mole on my face. I know bullying. And this is certainly bullying. And this is also a power play, right? And the worst part about this is because it reminds me when it's 2011, you want to have a party at your house and your mom's like, no. And you're like, why, Mom? She's like, no, I said so. Because I said so, Estefania. And you're like, that was not reason. She's like, but I said so. Scooter Braun is my mom in that situation. Because I said so. And you're like, what the fuck? That's the kind of frustration that I feel. And you're trying to reason with your mom. And she's like, no. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense. But you still have the party when she's in Colombia. Hey, Mom. So... One second. I might have fucked up on the prompter, so if we could skip this one. Thank you. So I want you to imagine also another comparison is I want you to imagine that your coworker that you hate or how you always have that one person that ruins a name for you? I can never name my daughter Maria because Maria fucked my high school boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like somebody that you hate. Imagine Maria or that coworker you hate now being in charge of your work schedule, your class schedule, and your salary. That shit fucking sucks. I have like 17 of those people. There's so many names that are ruined and they're really pretty. But whatever. So that's disgusting. But in protest and support of Taylor Swift, people are deleting Taylor Swift off their Apple Music, right? Which I would totally do if I had Apple Music, but I don't because I have Spotify, and I'm gonna keep Spotify forever because no one loves me as much as Spotify. A daily new playlist for me and my likes. I'm never gonna leave Spotify ever in my life, okay? But good for you guys. We're gonna talk about Tristan Thompson. Oh, wow. Right after this break, wow. Hey there, remember I said I might fuck something up? Guess what? I did. So going back to the last segment, apparently Taylor wants to re-record her music, but she has to agree to not doing that. Right, Molly, writer, producer. Right. So I want to correct that before some 56-year-old Swiftie eats me alive in the YouTube comments. Okay, so Tristan Thompson says, how do I breathe without you? You like that title? Okay, good. So Tristan wants that old thing back. Okay, so an inside source to the Kardashian family says that Tristan wants Khloe back. Tale as old as time, my dude. So the insider is saying that Tristan is showering Khloe with compliments, flattery, and gifts, and apparently feels guilty. But Tristan, you silly goose, what would you feel guilty about? Would it be like the multiple times that you cheated on a very, very pregnant Khloe and moved to Cleveland, and she moved to Cleveland for you, left her family on another coast, and yet you cheated on her and humiliated her in an international scope? I use scope, but I don't really know if I know what that really means. So, don't be ridiculous, Tristan. That's nothing to be ashamed of. It absolutely is. I was so trash of you. But say what you want about Khloe Kardashian, but every guy that she's ever dated has always come back in the media and said that they want her back. Every single dude. Our writer Kim says it's because she has a great blowjob, but I think it's her personality. But I have a different theory because I want to consult the science. Why does every boyfriend want her back? She's a Cancer, baby. She's a Cancer. Whatever. So I was so into him. I was crazy about him. And then I remember the moment I was like, oh, I'm done now, when he called his ex crazy. He was like, my ex is a psycho. And I was like, okay, that means 3 things. 1, you're a fucking dick. 2, you still have feelings for her. And 3, she's way better in bed than I am, you know? So if any of my ex's girlfriends are watching and he said that about me. Okay, so we decided that for you at home, you're like, Tefi, how do I know if someone's gonna cheat on me? We put together a ranking according to star sign, men most likely to cheat on you, 1 being most likely, 12 being most likely, least likely. I can do English, give me a second. So 1 to 12, right? So what we did is we went online, we did all this research, we took celebrity cheating scandals and our own personal experiences with cheating, and we put it together and we decided to create a list, right? 1 to 12. Okay, so let's start. So this is males and their star signs. Ready? Let's start with the first most likely to cheat. I'm so tired, you know? Unlike Khloe, Bella Thorne knows it all. So, Bella Thorne did an interview with Cosmo Cosmopolitan magazine, and this was the title of the article. Bella Thorne says, smoking marijuana and having a polyamorous relationship will change your life the way that Bella is 22. Like, I'm reading this headline and I'm like, I remember thinking I was like cool and open-minded and like, if my man were to flirt, you know, who am I to deny him a soul connection? There's like 7 billion people on this earth. Like, it's just a psycho man. Jobless, namaste, yeah, third eye, nah, nah, nah. Like, yeah, pass the weed, just kidding. I have panic attacks. You know? Like, we're not supposed to be with just one person. And now, fast forward, I'm like, something borrowed, something blue. Like, it's very different now. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. So, and also, I'm reading this and I'm like, oh, so you just don't like your partners. Because when I'm in love, everyone's like a blur, like that Black Mirror episode when someone's blocked, you just like can't see them. Like when I'm in love with somebody, I like that. That's the only person that I see, which sucks because then you look at your ex-boyfriends and you're like, how embarrassing. So I think it's also something like really easy to say when you're 22 because like no one is good at sex yet. Like when you hear like these older women be like, I slept with my trainer and he was 22. I'm like, ew, at least he knew which hole? Like, they know nothing. Everyone knows affairs are 25 plus. Come on. Amateur. So also Bella says that she wants to be friends with her exes. What a crazy, I hate that I live in a world where Bella Thorne is more mature than I. I hate that. The only ex that I am friends with is the one ex that I continuously forget that I dated. Like, I'll be with Molly, and she'll be like, do you remember that you dated Pepe? And I'll be like, oh my God, I did. I dated him for a year. I told him happy birthday. Does he think I still like him? You know? That's the only person, too, that, my heart, and the only person, too, that I remember months after we had broken up, he was like, I'm sorry that I blocked you. I just needed time to heal. And I looked at him and I was like, you blocked me? He's like, you didn't even notice? And I was like, of course, I was so hurt beyond belief. So anyway, this pansexual polyamorous identity sounds great, you know? Because imagine being like, man, if I was 22 and rich, and like, imagine being Bella, like, just like always high, getting laid, never showering. Also, as a reminder of just how much of a 22-year-old Bella Thorne is, look at this quote from the magazine. Ready? A lot of my partners start out like, what? And I'm like, bro, this is who I am. That is 20, she's feeling 22. Taylor Swift! Like that? Okay, so I have to make sure that my boyfriend's not watching this. We'll be right back after this break. I gotta clear something up really quick, okay? Because I'm on the train all the time, and I have my arm like this, right? And people are like, I see like college kids look at me and they're like, 420, bro. It's a bird! Like sick weed tat. And sometimes I'm like, thank you. You know what I mean? Because you want younger people to think you're cool, but most of the time I'm like, it's a sparrow. When I got this tattoo, I came home and it's like my first biggest tattoo, my first big tattoo. And I was like, Mom, look, and she's like, oh, we like birds now. So that's my mom. So we've reached my favorite part of the show. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. So, Tefi tip. Just the tip. It's never just a tip. So, guys, a lot of you are going on dates or seeing guys long distance. What's long distance? More than 3 subway stops away, or if you're in Miami, if you live in Coral Gables, you don't date somebody in Kendall. Local dick is available dick. What are you guys doing? Like one of my friends, she's dating somebody from in the Bronx and she lives in Bushwick. You might as well be in Delaware. What the fuck? Delaware must be easier. And then you know what happens? Let's say you go on a date. He has to come over and he has to sleep there. Yes. And you know what happened the last time that somebody slept in my apartment? I forgot my boyfriend is watching, so nothing. Local dick is available dick. If it is more than 3 stops away from you or a 15-minute leisure vehicle, that better be some bomb-ass dick. The kind where you wake up, where you get up and you're like that kind. Okay? I think there's a tip in that somewhere. So, guys, that's our show. Thank you for coming. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for commenting. I will see you Monday. Same place, same time.